This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and I'm going to kind of continue on from yesterday's conversation. I have to admit, I've been, over the last couple of weeks, longer actually, the last couple of months, I've been really trying to pull my thoughts apart and really look at things critically. I think at the moment there's this influence from the media to try and split men and women, and some of that is from horrible things that some men have done, for sure. And I think it's crucial that we continue to make a safe space for both men and women to be able to live and grow and develop. And if anything, we actually live in the safest times ever in the history of the Western world, and especially Australia and America are Western worlds and Western countries are significantly safer for both men and women compared to a lot of other countries that are around. In fact, stuff like interesting, and I don't have enough time to get into it, but even like, for example, hunger, like world hunger. It's like, there's no more world hunger on some level. In fact, the world hunger that's still occurring is actually not because of lack of food, it's because of the government. There's a lot of things that I think media don't really sort of expose, and this is why I feel like one of the biggest advancements in our culture and in our lifetime is long-form audio, because we get to really get down to the facts and understand conversations. And that's why you probably hear me bang on about it, because I really do listen to a lot of content every single week and trying to figure things out and trying to, pull my own thoughts apart and understand and choose both parts of an argument to hear out so I can understand and make my own sort of opinions and go take, research the facts and that. And that's one of the biggest things that I say, no matter what, whether it's my seminars or my podcast. It's like, I don't want you guys to take what I say and just go, fucking, yep, apply it, off you go, sweet. That's not the case. What I genuinely want, and I've probably told you before, but I'll tell you again, it's like, I want you to think critically. I want you to think like, is what Dave's saying resonating with me? Is it pulling me apart a little bit, and is it something that I needed to hear, or is it something that I just don't agree with and I've got good reason to? Like, it's not about just grabbing what one person thinks and then going, fucking that person, yes. There might be some yes, there's probably some no, and there's some maybes, but I really encourage people to critically think, and it's the first thing I say in my seminars. I'm like, I'm going to go through a lot of content today, and I want you to critically think for yourself. Ask questions so we have an opportunity to be able to pull things apart and understand things. It takes time to understand things, and I've really been sitting back on this sort of, as I said, the media split between men and women at the moment. And I grew up with 3 older sisters and a single mother for the better part, and I'm sitting there thinking, why does this not feel right for me? And it's like, I don't want to tell women to be safe and all that sort of stuff, because it's interesting sort of conversation at this stage. It's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And it's like, this is what I need to do is put forward positive masculine models so that the men coming through can be good, positive, masculine role models for society. So the conversations that I have about masculinity, or like yesterday, the forgotten art of being a man, it's not just for men, it's for women as well. It's for everyone, and it's because we have brothers, we have fathers, we have sons, we have cousins, we've got work colleagues, we've got boyfriends, you name it, right? We're around it all the time, and I've had a look at what my role is in this situation, and my role here is to make sure that I can continually unravel myself and understand how to be the best man that I can, so that we can encourage more men to be level-headed, to be open about their emotions without being emotional. And it doesn't mean that, like I said briefly yesterday, like emotional intelligence is actually being intelligent in understanding your emotions and learning how to communicate that from your standpoint and your point of view, knowing that you're not right and maybe it's not just, but just to understand what that's coming from and why, and then work through your pain, because we all have pain. That's one of the biggest things. It's like, we all have unresolved pain. I don't think you ever escape that. I don't think that's the case, and that's why Freud, if you ever heard, Sigmund Freud, he was a guy that was the first person to lay someone on a couch so they could look at a roof, because he never wanted people to be able to read his face in case something they said brought up some unresolved issue in himself. I mean, like, that's some pretty self-aware shit. So the biggest thing I think through all of this message is like, my message is clear to go. We need better men. We need strong men. and I've definitely made my mistakes and have had my insecurities throughout my time where, you know, I would spend time with a female, and it's just because I didn't want to be alone, and like, it's not the right thing to do, right? I know that, but I didn't know that at the time. I didn't understand it at the time, and so there's been a lot of difficulties moving through that and understanding that, and then, you know, apologizing when I need to and moving on from where I need to as well, so that I can be the best person for my partner and become the best man that I can for my society. And so the other thing there is so that I can pull up other men when they're not being men, when they're not being fair and compassionate and caring and just and strong, you know. And it's not about strong men or strong women, it's about strong people for sure. But the reality is that we live in a society today that calls women's strength beautiful and men's strength toxic, and it's like, no, we've got to be careful with that, because strong men don't do these crimes, weak men do. So this message is for everyone. It's not just for men, you know. And if you have a man close to you in your life that you care about, like, share this with them, because it's coming from this place of like, I don't believe that a society of harmless weak men is a good thing. Maybe I sound like a broken record, but, you know, and it's the same thing for females, by the way. Like, strength is first measured in character and then physical strength, and I think the most important thing is that together, both men and women, and if there's other genders involved in that, which, whatever, you know, but talking about those two genders specifically, we need each other. We need the strength. If you have two people in a relationship, one's strong and one's weak and submissive, that's not a strong relationship. It's not. That is a tyrant relationship. And so I constantly encourage people to move towards the things in their relationships that are difficult to talk about, to always listen, to understand, and, you know, then seek to be understood. And that's so crucial, because it gives us the power of giving the other person the moment they deserve to be able to communicate their meaning. And there's no rush. You cannot win. You don't win arguments. That's not how it works. How we interact with our significant other at home is how we interact with the world. And it's so crucial for us to make sure that, you know, we continue to show the world what positive masculine models are, so that they can continue to show their children, their daughters, you know, how they deserve to be treated and how they deserve to be loved, and their sons how to respect and how to be a good, strong contributor to a society. And so this is a way that we can actually get individual identity into a group without it being group identity. And it's so crucial that we do that, because otherwise what we're going to see is a split, and the split is not good. It's a changeover of power. And I'm not saying that there's not men in power today that need to be probably shaken up, or the old heads need to sort of change guard. I think there's a certain level of that, but the reality is that, you know, there's a quote in a book that I'm about to read anyway. I was planning on reading it at the start, and obviously I didn't, because this was important to me. And it's from a book called To Be a Man by Robert Masters. I've mentioned it a fair bit. This book really pulled me apart. I think it's very emasculating for a lot of men to read books about how to be a man. But I don't know, like, you know, unless you had a very, very, very balanced male or masculine and feminine role model in your life that could teach you how to be centered and how to understand what's in your control and how to respect. Like, if you're not taught, then how are you meant to know? And so, even though I have a very good man as a father, he's a great man. I didn't spend much time with him. He did what he could over the phone, and so for me, I had to go out and read books. And I think there's, considering the rates of divorce in families through the 80s, 90s, and especially the 2000s, it's like there's a lot of young kids, men and women both, for sure, that grew up without a positive masculine model, and the mother had to do a lot of work. Like, she had to play two roles in that, and that's fucking hard. That's tough. And because of that, we're starting to see the lapse of that now, and it's difficult because it's people that relatively feel entitled, that are seeking approval externally because they didn't get it at home, because people worked longer hours, were absent, right? And so these are just some examples of things that happen from this lack of the masculine role model. Like, even one other thing to add to that was the boys that grow up with a father in the household actually become more compassionate, because they're taught boundaries, and this is something that's so crucial for all of us to look into. So look, I don't know. I think this week is about men, and maybe I'm going to do some more reading and really try to understand the females' point of view. And I do want to get other people on. I do want to get other females on the podcast for musings as well. So if you do have some recommendations, I would love to hear it, because I do want to get more of that conversation on. I've had Miffy on, I've had Jessie on before, and they've been great, but I do want to get more females on the podcast. And if you have some recommendations, then I would love to hear them. But I'm going to finish off with this quote. I planned on pulling it apart a bit more, but that won't happen now. I'll do something for tomorrow anyway. But this is in the book To Be a Man by Robert Masters. True, it's page, just to clarify, it's in the introduction, and it's page 24. True masculine power is rooted in this dynamic blend of soft and hard attributes, showing up as a potent alignment of head, heart, and guts. When head, thinking, rationality, analysis; heart, caring, compassion, love; and guts, resolve, resilience, bravery, all inform each other and work together, a true healthy manhood cannot help but arise. And guys and girls, that's what we need more of today. So hopefully you share my message and see that the message there is to continue making a safer society by making stronger men. I'm out. As always, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick and slay the dragon. Much love, team. I'll see you soon.
to be everything at once, be unblinded.